So once again, guys, I'm going to be going over trend lines, trends, how to use them. I may be going over a little bit of support and resistance and how to use it and what that all means and how you can use it in trading. Not very, very difficult, but is very, very useful to use within your trading, even down the line. These are very basic concepts, but it's very useful to know down the line. I'm just going to read out this risk disclosure statement just to be compliant as always, so bear with me. Risk disclosure: trading foreign exchange market carries higher risk, may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin utilizing leverage can carry even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. Before deciding to trade in foreign exchange market or use any software or alert products, you should be careful and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There's a possibility that could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest or trade any capital that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. That being said, I'm not a financial advisor, so do not take my advice. This is purely education, as I always do say. So let's get right into things. I need to close this. Cool. Let's go to UJ. Okay, I'm going to delete. These are actually pretty good trend lines. They've been here for a while. We have a bit of breaker structure. Okay, so to reiterate off of last week's call, okay, we're going to go on my whiteboard. Okay, there are two types of trends that can happen in the market. An uptrend, so it's going to end up going up, and that would look like this. It's going to go up, retrace, up, retrace, keep going up. So that's my uptrend, right? Because it goes up overall. And then my downtrend is going to go down, retrace, down, retrace, and down again. Okay. It's very important to understand the structure of the market, just because those retraces, when it goes backwards against the trend, if that goes backwards too much, it's actually a trend reversal. So I'll show you a little example, right? So let's say we have an uptrend right now and it's going up, right? Goes down a bit, keeps going up, right? So right here is the line. If this dips below this line, that is a break of structure. So if it goes like this, that doesn't conform with our trend anymore. And you can easily depict this by using trend lines. That's why they call it trend lines. So you have two lines here, or a line here. You can connect these two dots. And it's very easy to see a trend break once it passes this line. A lot of the times what it does is it taps this line and it keeps going down. That's called a retrace again. And a lot of traders look for this tap on the trend lines before a break in structure. That's a very, very clear entry sign. So what I just drew out here, we're going to look for in the market right now. Oh, you guys see me now? Okay. Here we go. Sorry. Bear with me. Boom. Okay, cool. It's USD JPY. This is actually a bad pair to look at. Not all currency pairs always trend very nicely. That being said, like USD JPY, a lot of USD pairs this week have been moving absolutely crazy just because, you know, all the news and such that's going on. Essentially, if you would like to draw the best trend line you possibly can, you're going to go off of the top wick. So the wick is that little kind of stick popping out of those candles right there. You go here, here into the future. See? Oh, oops. Let me double click. Oh. See, it taps the top there, top here, and it extends. I'm going to do the same thing down here. You guys are going to see something. Okay, I can go off here. That's not very good. You see how it's going through? I'm going to do it from the green part. Sometimes I don't like to go to the very bottom just because it's like an extreme movement. That's still pretty good. Okay, we see we have our two trend lines. Okay, you see this little zone I drew out? Ooh, that's a very good example. This zone I plotted before, maybe a couple weeks ago. And you see if I extend it, it actually works out perfectly for where the market was. That's actually hilarious. So that's why once you mark up your charts well, you don't really need to redo it all the time, just because a lot of these levels actually transpire into, further market conditions. So that level actually carried out and bounced right off of it. But we're not getting to that right now. If I go with my annotation tool, let me pick a nice red. See our two trend lines. We have one going this way, one going this way, right? What the market usually does, typically, market is never like the same all the time. It usually bounces between this, okay? Near the end point, it's going to make a move, either up or down. It's usually a sharp movement, okay? That being said, right now, this market is trending downwards, over long term. You see this is going down, it's going down, down, down. So if I put a trend line here, you see the overall direction is down. There's no break of structure. It's still an overall downtrend from what we can see. This is on the daily time frame, so this is like a large outlook. This is spanning over years. But that being said, you should always look on the daily time frame to see kind of what's going on. Furthermore, it just broke out of our trend lines. Okay, our trend lines aren't like some amazing grace that they're always right, but they are telling us a bit of a story right now. So, we had a little bit of support. Support means it's like above it. Resistance is if it's below it. So I had resistance over here because it didn't break through. Kept going, had some support. It did not break through here. Had some more support. It broke through a little bit, okay? This is what's called a fake break. Okay, this happens all the time. Plus my trend line isn't very tight. But a fake break is when, the currency pair or whatever you're looking at actually breaks through your trend line, okay? And right here you would have said, oh man, it's going down, it's breaking the trend line. Wrong. Why? Because it came back up and kept going. How do you know the difference between a fake break and a real break? More times you need to look on a smaller time frame. So we're going to go to the hour 4. Fake break, yeah. You need to end up looking at the actual candlesticks. So these sticks right here, the green and the red, those are candlesticks. There's different types of candlestick formations that can form within the market. On the website, under the free resources, I'll actually show you, thetradingteam.ca. Come on, load, free resources. Under trading technical analysis, there's a candlestick PDF. It's called infographics. I actually made it myself. It's very good. It's very bulletproof. It has a lot of the stuff in there. There's very few candlestick patterns that aren't in there, usually using the ones that work. Okay. Boom. So this is our fake break. Okay. There's no good candlestick formations here. Another good way to tell what's going to happen after this is using fibs. Okay. I'm going to be going over this in another call, but I will still show you right now. What I can do is run this here to here and see what's going on. If I was going to trade this, I would sell it right here. I'm not saying that's what you should do. That's like hypothetically, if it goes in our favor. Market's still closed. It could gap somewhere, so we don't know. But that's like a more advanced tool that we'll be learning in a few weeks from now. Onward. It dropped through my trend line, right? So that's one thing that's telling me that this is going to go down. I don't want to just rely on one confirmation to tell me what the market's doing. So there's many confirmations that you guys are going to learn in order to see where the market's going to go. You don't want to try to predict where it's going to go. You want to try to just react to what it's doing. So what I will never do is I'll never sell it here. Why? Because of this. This always happens. This happens all the time. I would have lost 3 trades right there off of just trying to predict where it's going, right? Amateurs try to predict where the market's going. The experts in Forex just react to what's happening. That's where the real money's made, okay? If I try to just predict, boom, 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 3 losses, boom, went up. My stop loss would have been around here. We lost 3 positions right there. Let's see from here, modest entry. That's 200 pips, right? Your stop loss is normally like 50. Let's click here. Okay, so that's your regular stop loss. You would have been stopped out. At least I would. I would really look for a re-entry somewhere here. This is actually very good analysis. I'm going to send this in the group chat as well. Yeah, I'll send that right now so I don't forget. Or should I do this? Well, that's what I want to do. Okay. Onward. Let's look at another pair. The AUD. It's one that I've traded in the past that I have lots of luck with. Not even luck, but I was killing it with GBP AUD at one point. Let's see. You can see how much I was trading it in the past. But yo, what I love with this is that I can see my old trades, so I'd never really try to delete the tools that are on the chart just to see what's going on. I love trading GBP AUD just because of the way it kept forming these trend lines, and it was very easy for me to enter the market. I can't. Cool. You guys see, I have two trend lines. I like to do my top one red because that means it's going down, and the bottom one green because that's upward trend line. And I plotted a zone. Damn, this is a nice entry. I think this was one of the good entries. You see that zone that I have marked in blue. We're going to be learning how to do next week. But let's just look at the trend lines for now. I'm not going to delete it, but I'm going to keep it there. You see, it broke through my trend line. It bounced back up. It went inside a little bit, but then it dropped, right? And it dropped hard. I think I took profit on this one around here. That's usually what I do. I like to go for the impulse moves, okay? So what that means is you just have a quick downward force. Boom. That's 200 pips, right? That right there is 200 pips. So like if you're trading with a 0.10 lot, that's $200. That's a $200 trade for normally what I would do, my normal risk. Obviously, past profits don't, show your future gains or anything, but this is a strategy that works that I personally use. Let's look at another example. And these are, guys, these were on my chart. If you more times if I had both trend lines and that was there, I most likely entered off of it. I don't know if I entered on this one or not. This one might have even been a loss. I like to sell more than I buy in the market. That's just my nature. So you can see, you're probably thinking right now, Matt, that trend line sucks. I would draw mine right now like this, obviously, or I'd draw it like this. That's, nice and cool right now. But when you don't see this part, this made sense in the meantime, right? I might have even cashed out on one candle. You know what I mean? Because that's what a lot of my trades I did. I would enter off one candle. That's still 70 pips. That's why I like this currency pair. You can catch one candle on the hour for it and you're still cashing out. But onward. Oops. You see, you have that quick impulse, but it still sold down before it re-entered. I usually had my stop losses around the halfway mark in this pennant. So I probably would have been stopped out, but I think I just took my profit. This was back when I was really rushing my trades and I just cashed out as quick as I could. So that was my downfall. How many people do we have in the call right now? 5 people. Hey, what's going on? DNKY. Who's this? Okay. We have another pennant here, another trend lines. So these trend lines I'm using in a very like micro fashion. It's not very large scale. You can use them big and small scale. They work. Let's see. Somebody is chatting. Guys, any questions? Put them in the chat. I'm going to keep going if you don't ask me anything. Oh, where's the chat? What? Where's this? Okay, let me just stop my share for a second. Oh, there it is. How do you analyze it will go up or down by the 2 trend lines, one going up and one going down? Very good question. I look for when it breaks. I look for when it passes through it. Those are like, imagine it's like, I don't know, a fork in the road, right? You don't know where you're supposed to go. Your GPS tells you to go left, right? And you see your friend going left, so you go left, right? Just like this. You see, you lay out the pattern. I don't know where it's going to go. I have no idea where it's going to go. After this huge move down, I thought it was still going to keep going down. Even with this being angled downwards, I thought this was going to fall. But what happened? It went up. But I was prepared for when it went up, right? I was there, prepared. So when it retraced, once it retraced and tapped, it went up, through, down, tapped, and kept going. That's when I would enter, right? You always want to look for those confirmations. You need to retest this, what is this line? I don't like it, okay. We just want it to retest this zone, right? So it's gonna move in between, gonna go through and tap back. But that breakthrough and tap back was very minimal. It's very small, right? It almost looked like a fake break. But let's look at the candlesticks, because I remember this one. Let me zoom out quick. Where did it go? Here we go. Sorry, guys. Okay. What did I say, guys? Come on. I said what? Candlesticks, right? Very good candlestick pattern here. Let me see this question. Yeah, sorry guys. When I share my screen, I can't see the chat actually. How do you see which pair you should trade for a good trade opportunity? The pair you trade is up to you. Every pair can work. Every pair has worked for somebody in the past. You need to see which pair you're good at trading. So what I recommend for like a week or two, just screw around with a bunch of pairs, see what works. You know, Euro USD is where most people start. See what's good with that. See if you can trade it. See if you can apply your strategy, what you like to trade with that pair. I like to trade trend lines, you know, Fibonacci, which we're learning next week, and support resistance. That's very similar. It's like very quick and dirty, very easy strategy to use. I just find pairs that work with it, and that's really it. I don't really look, oh, this pair is the best one. What's the best for me will probably not be the best for you. Everyone's different, right? Everybody's strategy mentality is different. Again, like I said, I like to go for these impulse moves. So this one, you guys see these candlesticks, these two very long candlesticks? More times when there's two long candlesticks and their bottoms, the bodies are not where the sticks are, but the actual thick part of it. If they end on the same line, about the same price, more times there's a reversal. So it goes in the opposite direction. You see the same thing happens at the top here. Two of the same sticks goes down, right? This one goes up, goes down, still the same level, boom, right? That's a very common occurrence. It's even better if the candlesticks are the same length as well. That's one of the chart patterns you guys will see in that PDF that I provide. So even like, let's go off this trade. Let's see how many pips this would be earned. 60 pips, right? I would probably hold it there. That's like a 2-hour trade. I just like that quick impulse. 60 bucks. I'm with it, you know? I don't just hold it for too long. How do you know which pair is the best for AI trading software? Is there any weekly call for that? Yeah, so for AI, that's completely separate. You would need to go on your website, and then there's the risk analyst, so you need to ask him about that. You know, I don't advise on that, again, because like we have that risk advisor for us. So yeah, I don't advise on that. If you message me privately, I can kind of direct you to that after this call. Yeah, so that's what trend lines, guys. It's not very difficult. You know, it's very simple to learn. The easiest way to learn it, guys. Okay, you open up a demo account. It's free. Okay, you mess around with $1,000 demo account. Okay, this is your course of action, right? I'll text it out. Okay, you're gonna say open $1,000 demo. Plot trend lines like I did on 5 charts that you like. Okay, see your results, back test it, back test the pair you want to use. I can't type, use. See how well it's working. This is a very, very like rinse and repeat kind of formula, okay? You keep doing this until you find out what works. So open $1,000 demo, plot trend lines. You've seen how I've had my trend lines in the history, plot it like that. See, if what point in time you would plot your trend lines, what you would do, what that currency pair tends to do. Gold is very predictable when it comes to its moves. That's why a lot of traders trade it. There's lots. It's very volatile, so a lot of people trade it. So plot your trend lines on 5 charts. Pick 5 random ones. Does not matter. See your results. Are you getting results? If you need help picking a currency pair, I can help you in the group chat. So just let me know. Matt, I'm trying to look for one. I'll give you a couple that most people trade. Back test the pair. So what I did in history, go back, plot it. I already had it there. That's from previous experience because I'm still like not really like I know what I'm doing, so I didn't need to study that because I've done that in the past. But go back in the history, apply your trend lines, see what you would do in that circumstance. Put yourself in your shoes back in history, and see how well it's working. If it's not working, you're not going to put real money in and do it, right? So rinse and repeat until you find like 2 to 3 pairs that you can use. You just do that. That's it. Not very difficult. Okay. I'm just going to say okay to this, and then this call is going to end soon, but basically, I know you guys see these squares on my charts, okay? Those are support and resistance, or they're sometimes called supply and demand zones. So it is a very, very, not complicated, but it's a very in-depth concept that will take a whole call in itself, and I want to give it the time that it deserves. I've already gone over trend lines, but I want to go over it once more with you guys, just so you see and understand it, okay? So again, these zones help me. These zones tell me something, okay? You see, what do we have here, right? This zone that I drew basically shows the same spot, that's the same height as where this tapped before it went around, right? And that's not a coincidence. You guys seen that was already there, right? So how did I know to draw that right there? And it bounced off of it, right? So it's not simple to do it that well. It's hard to get it with that much accuracy. But there's, I got the tips and tricks, guys. That in itself, I could go on for like 3 hours. I'll be honest. There's a lot that goes into it to understand it. But again, next week, we're going to be going over that. As far as trend lines, do you guys have any last questions before I wrap up this call? Who's calling me? Sorry. Yeah, guys, any last questions before I hop off here? You guys can unmute your mic. You guys can type in the chat. It's really up to you.
So as a beginner person who's like manually trading, how would you say to start drawing those trend lines, seeing where they pinpoint, and then following those candlestick patterns?
Do exactly that, Malcolm. Let me zoom out. You know that thing I was typing out? That paragraph?
In which?
Exactly
yeah. Oh, okay.
I'll send this in the chat as well for you. I'll send that right now. Okay, and dude, rinse and repeat that. If you have questions, like, guys, you will never learn this stuff properly if like you just like sit on the call and be like, yeah, that sounds good. I like that. And then like you never use it and say, I want to make money. And then you just never use it, right? Demo test it. You're gonna learn for every like hour of you learning, like it replicates, or how can I say this? An hour of you actually doing it replicates 10 hours of you actually studying it. You will learn a lot just by practicing it. Like I can't tell you because sometimes trend lines act different on different pairs. Sometimes when there's news, it acts completely different. Like, the pairs, the same chart will be a different animal when it comes to different circumstances, sentiment and news and all this stuff. So try to isolate it. Try not to trade during news. You can go on forexfactory.com and try to just stay away from news for now as when you're a beginner. The market trades different after news as well, actually before and after. So that's a fun fact as well. So you're going to see how your pair reacts. Try to be the master of one pair. Pick a couple, see how your results are. After like 2 weeks, see, okay, I'm good at Euro USD. I'm going to use that, right? I was trading Euro USD for I think close to a year, and then my trades just kept getting worse, to the point that like I think that I was going up and it went straight down. I'm like, what am I doing? I just switched pairs. My strategy worked perfectly on GBP AUD, so I was happy. You know, sometimes sentiment changes and strategy don't work anymore. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, guys, any more questions after this? Just hold them for the chat. We'll be recording this, but on YouTube, obviously. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to link the group chat in the description so you guys can join that if you'd like. It's free. I just need your email in case we lose contacts in the group. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for your questions. Any more questions, ask them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay? See you guys.